How's it going, tabletop enthusiasts? Welcome to Tabletop Garage, where we give you a comprehensive battle report and troop analysis for your favorite tabletop war games. On this episode, we've got a Legion Skirmish, so without further ado, ready, hit it! So, starting off the Rebel turn here, we have this T-47 airspeeder with wedge and ground buzzer attached to it, and these two ATRTs here are both going to have long-range cannons. These Wookiee warriors here with recon intel are the first infantry to hit the battlefield. Following the Wookiees, we're going to see 3 core units deploy, Commander Luke and Operative Sabine. But Luke is going to have force push and recon intel, while Sabine is going to have seize the initiative, personal combat shield, recon intel, and the Darksaber. Unfortunately, Sabine in the last Rebel squad didn't get recorded, but we'll go ahead and move on to the Empire here. Starting off with ISF here with offensive push and a heavy. And then we're going to have a couple of stormtroopers deploy. Nothing fancy attached to them. They're really just basic stormtroopers. Following those basic stormtroopers, we get, oh, look, another basic stormtrooper unit. Okay, what next? Oh, yep, there's another basic stormtrooper unit. Okay, sweet. And another basic stormtrooper unit. Okay, wow, this is really shocking from the Empire. I couldn't think of anything else that could happen, except for Palpatine. That's pretty bad. Palpatine getting deployed right there is more than likely going to reap havoc, but hopefully we can shut it down. Right behind Palpatine comes Vader using Darkness Descend, so he's going to be activating first on his upcoming turn. While you guys watch this time lapse here, I'll go ahead and give you some details about the game. So it's going to be an 800 point skirmish, and the objective is right there in the middle, that downed ATST. And I know you guys are wondering, those Rebel troopers that just deployed, they're regular Rebel troopers. I understand that the minis are Rebel commandos, but I'm a novice and I picked the wrong minis and we didn't notice until after the deployment. So kicking off turn 1 for the Rebels, these Wookiee warriors are going to activate, and let's see if they can accomplish anything. And what we're going to see them Wookiee warriors do is they're going to move up and they're going to engage in melee combat with those ISF troopers right there on the other side of the ATST. And here we are, that movement, and they've actually managed to just barely have enough room to double move and go ahead and engage that melee combat, as you can see right there. So unfortunately for those ISF troopers right there, the Wookiees do have charge, and they are definitely going to utilize it on this turn. Unfortunately, the initial roll didn't get recorded, but it was 6 hits versus 6 defense die, and as you can see, the ISF troopers just absolutely whooped it. They had no chance from that. So those ISF troopers didn't have a chance to fight back, but Vader's going to come back through. He's going to utilize that force choke, putting 1 wound on the Wookiees, and then we're going to watch him move right into that melee combat and more than likely reap havoc on them Wookiees right there. And as you can see, he's got them 2 surge tokens right there. That was from his command card, and we're going to watch the roll, and it's not looking good for the Wookiees. He's going to go ahead and re-roll that surge, land that extra hit, and due to Vader's Pierce, the Wookiees aren't going to defend it at all. They do not surge to defend, and Pierce got him that other wound, and that takes out 2 out of the 3 Wookiees, leaving 1 Wookiee still there. He's at full health, but I really don't think he'll be able to do much to Vader. It looks like Vader came around and got a little bit of retribution for them ISF soldiers, but we're going to go ahead and move on to this ATRT here that the Rebels decided to activate, and it's just going to go and shoot that tank and try to whittle it down, because it does have a lot of hit points that the Rebels definitely need to think about. And that roll is going to be pretty good. Lands 2 crits, and then 2 hits go through, so it doesn't surge to defend. And here we see 2 wounds getting put on that TX right there. And then we're moving on to the Empire again, and you're going to see this Stormtrooper squad right here. They're just going to move up, shoot at that ATRT, see if they can't, start to whittle it back down too. So let's take a look at the dice roll here, and they absolutely woof it. Nothing on the ATRT, they needed crits. So with the Rebels' next activation, we'll see this Rebel squad right here. They're going to move up and shoot through that ATST at that Stormtrooper squad nearest to the TX. And as you can see, that roll was actually really good, but unfortunately, the Stormtroopers were in heavy cover, so 2 of those dice get removed from the pool. So fortunately for the Stormtroopers, they defend with red dice, so maybe they'll be able to... Nope, they don't. Yeah, I honestly thought the Stormtroopers there were going to be able to defend a little bit better than that, but yeah, you win some, you lose some. Not really losing much there on that Stormtrooper unit, but here we see the next Stormtrooper unit go ahead and move up and shoot at that ATRT yet again. Hopefully it bows a little bit better for them. And here's that dice roll. They do actually manage to get a crit from it, and we'll see the defense roll, and they land it. Really awesome for the Stormtrooper squad there. So what we're going to see next is Luke's going to double move and force pull that Stormtrooper squad into him, which I didn't know at the time they weren't going to reach my melee combat, but you live and you learn. With the Empire's next activation, they're going to double move this Stormtrooper squad up, just get them a little bit closer to battle, and then we're going to watch Sabine do the exact same thing. Mainly just movement happening right now, nothing crazy going on, just trying to get them troops closer into fighting distance. What we don't see with the upcoming Empire activation is they just put a standby order on Palpatine. But in the meantime, we're going to look at the Rebel troopers right here. They're just going to double move right up into combat. Shout out to Brandon at Tabletop Garage Studio on Etsy. He just does a really phenomenal job at painting our minis, and we're working on getting them all nice and painted for you guys. But back to the next activation, we're just going to see this Stormtrooper squad move up, shoot at Luke, and see if they can't land a couple hits on them. So apologies, we didn't record the dice roll too awful good on that one, but they land one crit on Luke, which he does not defend. Doesn't seem like the Rebels are rolling too awful good tonight. Slowly but surely, this Rebel squad is just going to double move, get closer into combat, followed by the TX moving up and just blasting fire into Luke. Let's take a look at the dice tray and see how that goes. Looking like 6 hits that Luke has to defend from, and he defends 3 of them. Not too bad, could be worse, but Luke's sitting at 4 wounds right now, and he's only got 6 HP, so not looking too awful great. Meanwhile, what we're seeing here is the airspeeder moving into Palpatine's standby distance, and in the most anticlimactic move of the game, Palpatine doesn't land any hits with his Force Lightning, and then the airspeeder is going to return fire onto the TX. He's going to land a couple of hits, but 2 out of 3 of them get blocked, so quite anticlimactic if you ask me. With the last activation of the turn, the last remaining ATRT is going to take aim and shoot at the TX, but it's not really going to be able to do anything. 1 hit manages to go through. And with that, we wrap up turn 1, so let's take a look at the most valuable activation, which is just the unit that got the highest point value in kills for that entire turn, which ended up being the Wookiee Warriors, who completely wiped out that ISF squad that had a heavy and defensive push for a total point value of 101. But then as we see, Vader came in at a really close second, wiping out a couple of Wookiees, but didn't quite wipe out the point value that the Wookiees did. With turn 1 over, let's take a good look at this time-lapse footage here and get a good lay of the land on how the battlefield's looking. Turn 2 is going to kick off with both players playing a 1-pip, with the Empire playing And Now You Will Die, and the Rebels playing Son of Skywalker. Rebels are going to roll, and fortunately the Rebels get to go first. Luke is going to turn and swing on the tank there with his lightsaber. He's going to take an aim, and looks like he landed a lot of surges, which surges get converted to crits for Luke, and he has Pierce 2, so all of those get converted into crits, which it looks like that's going to take out the tank completely. The tank does not surge to defend, which is a really good turn for Luke. It's rather unfortunate that Luke couldn't target Palpatine with that attack, because that would have wiped Palpatine out had it gone differently, but unfortunately for the Rebels, Palpatine is going to get the chance to do his absolutely devastating turn. So here we go. Looks like Palpatine landed 5 hits on Luke, but he could only defend 3 of them, which means Luke is going to go down. With Luke down, Palpatine is going to turn on Sabine and take a wound. Sabine actually manages to defend all but 1 of his 6 attacks, but then he's just going to take another wound and hit her again, and this time she does not defend very well. The Pierce really comes into play here as he lands 4 more hits, which brings it up to a total of 5, and her HP is 5, taking Sabine out as well. So that's Luke and Sabine out in one fell swoop, and Palpatine's turn is not done yet. Taking another wound, we have Palpatine landing 5 hits on a 4-man Rebel squad, and they didn't defend it at all. Sorry, we didn't record the actual defense dice roll. But assured, they didn't defend it. And then he's just going to take another wound and attack the next squad, which they, again, didn't defend at all. So Palpatine really made his money's worth on that one. Well, with Palpatine not on the field, at least there's a lot of squishy stormtroopers to shoot at. So the airspeeder is going to move up and shoot at that stormtrooper squad that's furthest east on the map. And look at that, it's as if the stormtrooper squad never even existed. So they didn't defend those 6 hits at all, and at least the airspeeder did something good. As if enough damage to the rebels hasn't already been done this turn, this stormtrooper squad is going to move up and engage in melee combat with the rebels right here. Let's take a look at that initial attack. 3 hits landing on them rebel troopers, and they defend one of them. A futile attempt for the rebels to retaliate. We accidentally prematurely removed 1 mini from the stormtroopers there, but they didn't get a kill. What we're seeing here is Vader attacking the 1 remaining Wookiee, and that Wookiee just getting absolutely obliterated. So as you can see, that Wookiee's pulled from the map, and Vader's free to do whatever he wants. Next in the shoot, we have this ATRT here, who's just going to move up and shoot at Vader with his long-range cannon, and Vader's going to defend one of them, taking 1 wound. These stormtroopers here that just activated are going to land 1 crit on the airspeeder, not doing too much, but 1 hit's better than no hits, and then they're just going to move up at the end of their turn. For the next several activations, we're going to see the rebels attempt with all their might to destroy Vader, and fail almost entirely, but they did get another wound, so they're chipping away at him. And thus concludes the end of turn 2. So let's take a look at the most valuable activation, which I'm almost certain you guys can probably already guess. And it's Sabine. I know, shocking. It's just that she was just a 152-point target and really drew that fire away from Palpatine. So she really carried her weight through this entire game. It was incredibly useful. Wait, oh, sorry. Roll that back. Yes, you all guessed correctly. The most valuable activation of the turn was indeed Palpatine. He managed to kill 2 Rebel Trooper squads, Sabine and Luke, for a grand total of 404 points in 1 turn. That is absolutely devastating for the Rebels, and they are going to have an incredibly difficult time bouncing back from that, if at all. But join me in a nice somber look at not only the devastation that Palpatine caused during turn 2, but the following devastation that ensued. The Empire is going to start off turn 3 with a 2-pip New Ways to Motivate Them, which is a Darth Vader card, and the Rebels are going to play a 3-pip Assault card. So with this turn, the only thing we're going to go over are the activations that a death occurred, simply because the rest of the activations either nothing happened or someone moved into a different spot. What we're seeing here are those stormtroopers successfully wiping out the last remaining Rebel trooper on the field. He tries to fight it, but it's inevitable at this point. We can see there that the airspeeder did move up and shoot at Vader with the ground buzzer, but it didn't do too much, so Vader's going to get the opportunity to move up and attack the ATRT with his lightsaber, and he's definitely going to land enough hits to be able to kill it this turn. So they're going to pull that mini, and that's going to end turn 3. Darth Vader is going to earn that coveted most valuable activation when he kills that ATRT over there, and earns a crisp 65 points for it. But to go over a quick recap, we saw that airspeeder move up. He took a couple shots at Vader, but none of them went through, and then we saw Vader kill that ATRT. So we'll go ahead and move on with the time lapse and just watch as these rebel forces do anything and everything in their power just to kill Vader. Which, when Vader finally falls, the rebels forfeit the game, and we are concluded. So, believe it or not, that was a really fun Legion game, and I'll go through a full time lapse of the entire process, beginning to end, from deployment to the forfeit. It really was a fun game, guys. I can't stress that enough. We played on a super small map. It was absolutely a great time. While that time lapse plays in the background, I'll go ahead and tell you guys about some stuff we have going on in the future. We're playing a lot of bolt action. We're going to get that filmed and a video pushed out for that. And all future videos that we put out are probably going to be a little bit longer, a little bit more in depth. This was kind of a quick game that we ran through, and we intend to get very deep into the battle analysis, the troop analysis, what point values killed what point values. It's going to be a really great time. And of course, please like and subscribe. Any support to the channel would be fantastic. We're a brand new channel. The video quality might be a little subpar right now. I know, I'm sure I'll get complaints about it, but we're working on it, and each video we put out is going to be better and better and better. The better we get at the games, the better we get at editing the footage, and the better we get at filming the footage. It's all in all just going to get better the more we do it. So I appreciate any and all support that we get, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. A Superstar Destroyer size thank you to Brandon, Alex, and Aaron. They do all of our mini painting and terrain building and etc. So big shout out to them. Couldn't thank them enough for supplying all the minis for us to film and actually be able to post. Speaking of miniatures, if you're in the market for some painted minis, then check out the link in the description for Tabletop Garage Studios at Etsy.com. We've got some really awesome painted miniatures on there. Brandon is really putting in work on that. So check it out. Support him. Support the channel. It really would appreciate that too. So without further ado, ready, hit it.